It has been 10 years since I first started struggling with questions like, why can't I finish simple tasks? Why do I still care about others and why does it dictate my life? Why do I still feel lonely even around certain people? And in those 10 years, I've done a lot of work on myself. I read, I wrote, I went to therapy. And even now, I could still maybe ask these questions to myself from time to time, but they're no longer roadblocks. They no longer stop me from feeling anger, courage, shame, happiness, sadness. They don't stop me from living my life. Starting this journey, there were 2 books that made the biggest difference in my life. This whole process, this whole journey started with my therapist suggesting a book to me when I was 19 and struggling in college. Reinventing Your Life by Young and Klosko. This whole book was about reframing the way you think through tangible practices. It focused on 11 schemas that people may be trapped in and that skewed the way they looked at life. In the book, after explaining some of the main principles, there's a test where you are going to rate how often you engage in certain behaviors to determine which schemas may be in effect in your life. Some examples of these schemas include abandonment, the feeling that people you love will leave, die, or somehow not be there for you when you need them. Social exclusion, the feeling of isolation even when you are belonging to a community or a group of friends. Defectiveness, inwardly strong feelings that you are somehow flawed. Almost all people are affected by one or more of these schemas, but at differing intensities. And this book will help determine the strongest schemas in your life so that you can start working on them. And once you determine where you want to focus on, there are a lot of information about these schemas. There are real-world examples of people who are going through the same thing, their struggles, and it's a great way to have this outside perspective to understand how this affects someone else's life, so you can draw a parallel to the power of it in your own life. Once you get an overall understanding of the schema, there are actionable ways for you to start working on so you can start changing the same pattern of thinking. These steps include understanding where the schema came from, realizing where it's hurting you the most in your life, and ways you can remind yourself to stay grounded when you're falling back to these same thought patterns. I feel that this book is a must in everyone's libraries, and you don't have to sit down and read it all at once, but it's just a great reference whenever you're feeling stuck, you're giving a reaction you did not think you had in you, or you are continuously thinking of a certain thought. Then this is a great book to get back to and see where you're stuck, and it will help you move forward. The next book that had the biggest impact in my life is very different. I think it can be considered more philosophical. It is a book about one man's life, specifically his life before, during, and after being imprisoned in a concentration camp. It is a very interesting story how I got to this book. I was feeling a lack of direction in life, and I started doing research on different subjects that interested me to find that perfect path for me. I joined the startup club, I started taking arts marketing class, and I researched best books to read on psychology, and this book was a top suggestion. What I did not know at the time was that when I was looking for the perfect path for myself, I found the book that told me the paths did not matter as much as the meaning we give to them. This is a very short book. This is a very dense book. And whatever I say, I will not do justice. So I'm gonna leave the contents of it alone for you to find out for yourself. But I will explain why this book made my list. You can grow and work on yourself and practice betterment in everything you do. You could think different, you could run faster, but there will come a point where you'll ask yourself, why? Why am I doing this? Why am I putting all this work? And this book is the answer to that why. This book made me start on a journey to find my own meaning, to find my own why. My early 20s were the times where I was finally getting to know myself and I was laying the groundwork for the life that I wanted to build. These 2 books were the biggest pillars that paved the way for me to start working on the life that I wanted to have. And if I started everything all over again, I'm walking to class, crossing campus in my uncomfortably skinny jeans, I would still take these 2 books with me along the journey. Thank you for watching.